I'd like to talk about this here for a second. I was talking about morality in the absence of a God. Somebody said that you essentially that you can't be moral without believing in God. And I gave an example of morality being found in the Bible without God, and that comes from the parable of the Good Samaritan, where the Good Samaritan stops to help somebody who would normally be his sworn enemy because it was the right thing to do. And this was witnessed by Jesus. This is pre-knowledge of Jesus, pre-knowledge of the Christian God. And so it proves that we have our own morality in us. Our morality is what we're born with. And this person essentially says the same thing, but still attributes it to God. Now, let me show you the whole comment. Well, first, I'll read the part that's here, and then I'll show you the part that gets cut off. The Good Samaritan isn't proof that morality comes from inside us. It's proof that God's moral law is written on the heart, Romans 2:15. The Samaritan acted rightly because God created, because God created humans with a conscience, not because morality magically exists without him. No Christian says, I'd murder if God didn't exist. The point is that objective moral standards require an objective moral giver. Without God, truly morality is just opinion. So what this person is saying is that, the way I'm reading this, is that you cannot be moral without a God telling you to be moral, without somebody giving you the morality. They have to write it on your heart because God creates everybody. And therefore, God gives you morality. Okay, so then did God create Schindler and make him do the things that he did? What happened to his morality? Was it not written on his heart? Or are you going to blame it on some evil afterlife entity like the devil and hell? Because, you see, if you want to give God the props for all the good shit that people do, when people act moral, when people help other people out, when people aren't shitty human beings to other human beings, then you got to give him the bad marks for the people that are shitty. You got to get, for every Albert Einstein he creates a Schindler, right? I mean, there's good and bad in the world. Or do you not give him the bad marks for the bad people that he created? One of the things that I find just extraordinarily hypocritical about people who argue with me about religion and God and morality and right and wrong is that they always want to give him the credit for the good, but they never want to give him the bad marks for the bad. If a house burns down, but the Bible is left sitting on the nightstand, a Christian, not all obviously, but a Christian will come to me and go, this is proof that God exists. And I always go, well, you're standing in the ashes, the rubble, the ruins of what used to be this Christian family's home. So you're giving God credit for saving the Bible, but not a bad mark for burning the fucking house down? The same goes with the right and wrong thing, the moral. I don't believe in God, right? I like to think I try to do the right thing. I like to think that I try to help people out. And it's not because a God told me to. It's not because a law told me to. Clearly, I'm not necessarily somebody who believes in following every law. I've been smoking cannabis since I was 13 years old, right? So my sense of right or wrong comes from inside me, and it's got nothing to do with the supreme being writing it on any part of my anatomy. Because the guy next to me could have 13 people hanging upside down by their toenails in his basement, and God made him too. So this atheist is going to have to go, bullshit. God didn't write anything on my fucking heart. And if he did, why did he make me the way he made me originally? Because When I was much younger, I carried much more insane views. I was a racist. I was a misogynist. I was a homophobe. Uh, God has nothing to do with it because there is no God. These are my opinions. You have your opinion, and that's awesome. If it helps you get through the day and helps you be a better person, you do it. I'm being very serious. I don't believe in a God. I don't think there is one. I don't think there's a heaven. I don't think there's a hell. I don't think there's a soul. I think that we are all highly evolved bundles of organized or borrowed energy. And one day we give it back to the earth that it came from. It doesn't go back to a god. It doesn't go back to it doesn't it continue to exist in some eternal afterlife in the form of a soul. When we die, we compose and we give our energy back to the earth, and it sends it off and it does something else with it. If you're looking for a God, don't look up. Look down. Everything you see, everything you touch, everything that is in your life came from the ground, the earth. Mother Earth is the God, not whatever man decided was up here. And besides that, I'm a firm believer that what many people believe are gods or these stories that have evolved over the years involving a supreme being. I'll do you one better. I think a lot of it is encounters. Example. We see shit like this all the time, right? This is Aztec Mexico. This is New Zealand. This is another place in Mexico. This is Egypt. Okay, these are continents separated by oceans in a primitive time, and they're all depicting the same stuff. Why? Because I believe other living creatures have visited this earth for centuries. And I think that people may have, in a more primitive time, mistaken some of that for angelic or heavenly behavior. Beings from a creator. Hang on. Tom, are you really saying that religion might be based on UFOs? You're telling me you believe in UFOs? First of all, yes, I do believe in unidentified flying objects, because anything that's flying through the sky that's unidentified is an unidentified flying object. But I think it would be ridiculous for us as human beings to sit here on this tiny, floating blue rock and go, we're it. We're the only ones. No other solar system, no other universe, no other this, no other that, no other planet, no other place can develop life but us. We're it. And then to say, not only are we it, but if we weren't it, we're the top of the food chain. I don't know. You know what I mean? I think in the grand scheme of things, we're very low on the totem pole. We're very high on ourselves, and I don't believe any of the creator shit. I don't. If it helps people be a good person, and this helps you be a good person, fine. I don't believe it for 1 second. My right or wrong has changed over the years. I'll tell you something. The older I get, the softer I get. And now your morality comes from how you want to be treated, in my opinion. And there are people that are just wired a little goofy, and they do things horrible. And it's not because God wrote it on them, or Satan wrote it on them, or anybody else wrote it on them. It's because that's how they were wired. It's just how it is. Sorry for the rant.